We're back with Pastor John Paul Millar. If he is a grieving widower, then why can't he talk like one? That's what we're going to look at in this episode of Never a Truer Word, where we look at the words that people choose to use to see if they're telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and look to give you the confidence that comes from knowing what people around you are truly saying. Pastor John Paul Millar came to my attention when I saw a video of him announcing the death of his wife, Mica, to his church at a congregation, and it was just bizarre. There's a link in the show description to the breakdown of that, but really it was so strange. Recap on the big things that I noticed. Number one, he delayed the announcement. He said, I'm going to make an announcement, and then he spent half the time of the announcement not making the announcement, as if he was delaying getting to it. Quite often happens when we've got something sensitive that we don't really want to say. Sometimes that's a lie, sometimes it's just a sensitive event, but he delayed making that announcement. And instead, he controlled the reaction. He was telling the congregation what to do. He told them not to talk about the announcement inside the building and ordered that they should pray for him and his kids, but not for his dead wife. He led with his worries. Before he announced the death of his wife, he talked about what was worrying him. That was, he was going to have to take a bit of a break, and he didn't want to have to worry about the church. I think real self-obsessedness there. And he created distance between himself and the death. He said, I got a call late last night, i.e., I didn't know anything about this death until someone called me to tell me about it. And it was up in North Carolina, so the death happened far away from me. And the other thing from that sermon, what was missing? No sense of sadness at all, no sense of grieving. He cannot talk like a grieving widower, and no sense of empathy for anyone but himself and his children. If you are new to the channel, we look at the words that someone uses and analyze them to see what they're really saying. So we don't look at theories or any other kind of evidence, only the words that people use. If you want to get more like this, then press the subscribe or press the follow button, and that way you will get every new episode from Never a Truer Word. Please share this with anyone you think would be interested as well. The like button helps this get to more people as well. And what's coming in this episode is informed by some of the comments on the first breakdown of the sermon. So thank you very much for those comments. Thank you very much for those observations. If you think I'm missing anything, if you think I've got something wrong, do let me know in the comments below, or get in touch on social media. All the links are in the show description. So here's some more things that I've noticed from this sermon.
My request to you is that you will continue to come to church and serve and give.
My request to you is that you will continue to come to the church and search and give. And it's that word give, that got me wondering, what does he mean by give? You know, is it serve and give service, or give to the church, or is it give financially? These churches get a bad reputation, a lot of it justified, and I think this is before he's announced the death of his wife. Is he worried about the money, possible loss of funds or something like that? Please continue to serve and give. I think this is a direct appeal for money, a really strange thing to do when you are announcing the death of your wife. Next.
It's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now, so.
It's all I can, I'm just kind of going on adrenaline right now, so. And it's adrenaline that interests me there. Regardless of the scientific facts about what adrenaline does, in words and language, we use adrenaline to talk about things that are thrilling, to talk about things that are exciting. And he's talking about the death of his wife, and he's just found out about this. And he says he is going on adrenaline right now, a word that is used with thrilling situations and exciting situations. What a strange phrase to use.
My wife has passed away. And it was self-induced.
He says, my wife has passed away, and it was self-induced. Self-induced. Interesting use of words there. I've heard of people having injuries that are self-inflicted before, but self-induced, what does induced mean? Well, one meaning of induce is started, not finished. Self-induced, self-started. Is this saying that he's blaming his wife for what happened? Did she start something and someone else finished it? Something else finished it. Self-induced, I think, is a big tell. Away from the sermon, the shady pastor has given an interview to local TV.
She was probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for. She was incredibly affirming. We spent every night together for hours just talking and talking and talking.
So this is the grieving widow. She was probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for. She was incredibly affirming. We spent every night together for hours just talking and talking and talking. It's the grieving widower there saying she was the greatest wife. That might all seem quite nice at first glance, but let's delve into what he actually says. Number one, not the greatest person. Mica was not the greatest person, just the greatest wife, i.e. how Mica relates to him. He is really self-absorbed. Everything here has to relate to him. So she's the greatest wife. And she was incredibly affirming. Affirming to who? Affirming to him. So this is what she gave me. She was a great wife and she was incredibly affirming to me. Says nothing else about Mica's character, her family, how she related to other people around them, what her personality was like, what she contributed to the world beyond what she did for Pastor John Paul Millar. And it's not glowing at all. Look, she was only probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for. Even at this moment, the supposed grieving widower is open to the fact there are better wives out there. Just probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for, and anyone could ask for. He's not even talking for himself here. Just in general, Mica was probably the greatest wife anyone could ask for. He doesn't talk for himself personally there at all. And he says we'd spend every night together for hours just talking and talking and talking. Just is a word that is often deceptive. And what he wants to create here is a picture that this is the only thing that happened in their relationship. They talked and talked and talked for hours every single night. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot more going on in that relationship, and he's trying to minimize that down using that deceptive word just to just talking and talking and talking. The pastor goes on.
She had struggled with suicide before, and each time, helped her through it, took her to her doctor, and we got through it, and everything was fine. And she even gave a few testimonies here at church. We have on video of times where she had battled suicide, but God took care of her and got her through it.
So he wants to say there that Mica had mental health problems. And by the way, if you don't believe me, we have proof. She even gave a few testimonies here at church we have on video. Why does he feel the need to offer proof of Mica's mental health worries? Why can he not just say it and it just be accepted? Why does he feel he needs to offer proof of this? That is exceedingly worrying. Not just she had mental health problems, but hey, I've got them on video. I've got proof she had mental health problems. And by the way, who got her through these mental health problems in the past? Because he says different versions. He says at the start, we helped her through it. We got her through it by taking her to a doctor. So we helped her through it. We got her through it. And then he gives God the credit at the end. God took care of her and got her through it. And that phrase sends shivers down my spine, because he is saying God's will was to take care of her and get her through it. Is it God's will what happened to her since then? I do not like this guy at all. In conclusion, Pastor John Paul Millar is controlling. He controlled the reaction. Here's how I want you to react when I tell you about how my wife has died. He's controlling the narrative. He's getting out there ahead with the mental health stories and also with where he was and how he found out as well. He's exceedingly self-interested. His glowing tribute to his wife actually was about what his wife did for him. And he's got nothing nice to say about his wife as a person at all. His words do not suggest that he has real grief. What do you think? Get in touch on social media or drop a comment down below if you can. Press the like or the plus button, and that will help this get to more people, or share it with people who you think would be interested in learning more about Pastor John Paul Millar and the red flags that the guy has raised. And by the way, if you like this, then on YouTube or Spotify, you can subscribe, become a member, and you will get exclusive content, early access to the regular weekly videos, and more as well. And finally, neveratruerword.com is a good place to go. There's a whole load more podcasts. You can sign up for the newsletter. And if you're interested in stories like this, there are a lot of videos you can watch there to truly understand what people are saying all around us. And we'll see you again soon for something new from Never a Truer Word.